Caravan to Mexico, the story of a friendly roving city on wheels. Behind this portable loudspeaker is a man who leads a group of goodwill ambassadors anywhere they want to travel, and his name is Wally Byam. He's known as the Marco Polo of trailer travel. This particular Wally Byam trailer caravan assembled in Juarez, Mexico, just across the border from El Paso, Texas. Nearly 500 young older people in 220 car and trailer outfits from all over the USA and Canada crossed the border with Wally in this friendly invasion of Mexico. In this first encampment, veteran caravanners will be helping new caravanners to get organized for the trip ahead. Some caravanners have traveled many thousands of miles with Wally, following him all over the world. This trailer here is decorated with souvenir labels of the first European tour. But the most interesting fact of all is that each person pays his own way, and that's all he pays. The organization of a caravan is on a voluntary and friendly basis, just like the old wagon trains to the west. At registration time, each caravaner gets a blue beret with a special emblem, and this blue beret is the symbol of traveling democracy. At regular meetings, the caravanners decide by vote where they will go and how long they will stay. And Wally conducts these meeting times with his beloved caravanners, counts the votes, and announces the plans that include all kinds of special events, because everywhere they go, they are entertained and feted. Caravanners enjoy loads of extras not possible for the single traveler. And here they go, traveling south to the city of Chihuahua. From the air, you see the wagon wheel arrangement of a caravan encampment. A parking committee helps position each unit, and volunteers handle all caravan duties. For example, a social committee plans special activities, and another group checks for stragglers on the road. We always have at least one retired doctor with us. In Chihuahua, the caravanners visited the former Senorita Luz Corral, or Mrs. Pancho Villa, Villa's only true and legitimate widow. Pancho Villa was an alias adopted by Doroteo Arango before he joined the revolutionaries and gained fame as the Robin Hood of Mexico. Senora Villa was a guest at the caravan camp, and everybody enjoyed this rather pleasant contact with a quaint historical person. Mrs. Villa was presented with a blue beret, thus making her an honorary Byam caravaner. When the caravan went through the old mining town of Parral, all the school children were given a holiday. And before the caravanners knew this, they simply couldn't understand why there were so many waving kids on the street. Our next stop was in the very noble and loyal city of Our Lady of Zacatecas, founded in 1548. Since Zacatecas is over 8,000 feet up, there is no level area large enough for the usual caravan encampment. And so the city officials invited us to park around their plaza. This gesture was typical of the hospitality the caravan enjoyed all over Mexico, and it was quite a sight to see the narrow streets of this historic old town filled with the shiny modern trailers of the caravan. We were serenaded by strolling mariachis and had a very gay time in Zacatecas. Near Aguascalientes, the caravan parked at the famous Fighting Bull Ranch of Peñuelas. And while they were guests on this old hacienda, the caravanners enjoyed an atmosphere and entertainment not available to the average tourist. A special program was arranged with refreshments and colorful native dances. Every region in Mexico has its own particular dances, and usually these are performed only at celebrations and fiestas, but the arrival of the caravan was important enough to rate an extra appearance. One of the features of this dance, done by descendants of the Chichimecs, is dancing on one foot. The best dancers are those who can go back and forth and around and never touch the other foot to the ground. The Chichimecs were a warring, conquering tribe, and this dance is definitely in the same spirit, with bows and arrows and slashing machetes. The caravanners got some very colorful pictures of this dance to show to their friends back home. The brave bulls of Peñuelas are fought in corridas or bullfights all over Mexico, bulls for the ring must be of unquestioned pedigree. And while these bulls are descendants of Spanish bulls, they've been raised here in Peñuelas for centuries. No one is allowed to approach the bulls on foot. They don't bother automobiles, but even in your car like this, you don't feel quite safe when one of these big boys starts in your direction. The caravanners were invited to watch and participate in a tienta, or testing, in the practice bull ring at Peñuelas. At a tienta, the calves are tested for strength and bravery, and even the females are worked with the cape to find out if they will make good breeding stock. Some of the more adventurous caravanners, like this young lady, accepted the invitation to take a hand with the cape. The basic theory of bullfighting is that the bull will attack only a moving object, that is the cape, and bypass a stationary object, the man. There were a few caravanners who showed real talent. Imagine telling your friends that you actually fought an authentic fighting bull. It could really only happen to you on a Wally Byam caravan. We'll have to admit that caravaner Ted McCoy here has a rather, well, shall we say, unorthodox style? Just watch that. But he does have plenty of nerve. Processions like this are a common sight in Mexico. Some such walking pilgrimages travel hundreds of miles, while others may be going only to the next village. Along any road, you see Mexicans on the move, in large or small groups, walking or riding. They seem always to be going somewhere, moving about. We are still waiting to see that sleeping Mexican of the cartoons. To get the true flavor of old colonial Mexico, the caravan went next to Guanajuato, a lovely old city that was a silver center, a revolutionary battlefield, and a treasure of colonial architecture. The streets are very narrow and twisting, but exceptionally clean. Many lanes in this old town are so steep that they are built as steps. Guanajuato was the scene of the first battle in the war for independence from Spain, under the leadership of Miguel Hidalgo. This town was a stronghold of the Royalists, probably because the world's deepest silver mine, also one of the richest, is located on one side of the gorge in which the city lies. One of Guanajuato's concessions to modernism is a baseball field, and here the caravan was invited to park. Caravanners never have to worry about where they will spend the night. An advance scout always makes these arrangements, and as we said, the caravan is usually a guest of the cities and towns it visits. We left Guanajuato and traveled west to the state of Michoacan. Caravans are planned for variety, and our next stop was the very Indian village of Pátzcuaro, right on the lake of the same name. In the center of this lake is the island of Janitzio. On a trip out to this island, you pass the famous butterfly net fishermen. These unique nets were designed for the Tarascan Indian fishermen about 1535 by their first Spanish priest, Don Vasco de Quiroga. The fish they catch are a small white lake fish. Everyone, man, woman, and child, on the island of Janitzio spends his time working on these butterfly nets because they need repair after only 1 month's use. They're completely worn out after 3 months. Things are changing, though. There's now a plan afoot to make the nets of nylon. The Tarascan people and their villages have a somewhat Chinese appearance. We noticed it particularly as we climbed the hill in Janitzio. Up past the church to the colossal statue of Morelos, which dominates the island and the lake. Here it is. José María Morelos led the wars of independence after Hidalgo's defeat and execution. One of the native dances peculiar to the Tarascan Indians is Los Viejotos, the dance of the little old men. It's a grotesque mimicry of the hobbling step with a cane of the very old, and it is done by youngsters who wear carved and painted wooden masks, the rest of their costume being the traditional regional dress of Michoacan. This dance is part of the Pátzcuaro festival held early in December, but it was specially performed for the caravan. The masks used in the dances make wonderful souvenirs, and the caravan enjoyed shopping for them in the local market. From Pátzcuaro to Mexico City, great mountain ranges offer a succession of views, and then suddenly we were traveling through the cosmopolitan streets of the capital. Caravanners organized sightseeing trips to the 400-year-old National University of Mexico. This new and ultra-modern murals. There are around 25,000 students at this school, which is the oldest in the Western Hemisphere. And at Xochimilco, the place where the flowers grow, the caravanners were welcomed with signs worked in flowers on the boats from which you see the floating islands. These islands were rafts woven of twigs anchored in the lake by the Aztecs and covered with earth and vegetation. Other boats bring peddlers alongside to offer flowers and souvenirs and music and food. Xochimilco, 14 miles southeast of Mexico City, was once the home of the Aztec nobles. Today it is a favorite Sunday outing spot. Part of the fun in Mexico is shopping. Everywhere you go, there are colorful native handicrafts, and with a trailer, you can bring back those fragile or bulky items. We also visited the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan, more than 2,000 years old. Actually, the largest pyramid in the world. Mexico City's bull ring is the world's largest. A bullfight is neither a fight nor a sport, as we understand those terms. It is rather a tradition played out in pageantry, movement, and color. The alguacil here, or constable of the ring, enters on horseback to start the proceedings, as the procession of matadors, banderilleros, and picadors parade into the ring. A corrida de toros consists of a program of 5 to 8 bullfights. "50,000 fans pack into this ring on a Sunday afternoon. Each bullfight is divided into 3 parts called tercios. The first tercio consists of passing the bull with the cape. This is the large rose and yellow colored work cape. The fancy embroidered capes are carried only by matadors for show. In the second tercio, the banderillas are placed. These are short lances decorated with colored paper, and you can see the banderillas stuck in the hump of muscle on the bull's back in this picture of the third tercio. And here the matador passes the bull with the muleta, that square of red cloth held over the sword. To demonstrate his skill and courage, the matador works the bull closer and closer to his body. And the crowd is quick to applaud with an ole. The 3-mile-long bay of Acapulco is almost encircled by green hills, and on these hills are super luxurious hotels that make Acapulco a favorite resort for both Mexicans and Americans. The caravan encamped in the tropical grounds of the Hotel Papagayo, where Wally conducted informal outdoor meals and meetings. The beaches of Acapulco are famous, and the water is always pleasantly warm, and there are all kinds of diversions. Peddlers, like this one, selling fanciful straw hats, are everywhere. Or you can just relax and enjoy the view, like this. And here's a new water sport. You run fast along the beach to fill a damp mattress cover with air, and then slide out across the breakers on your giant air pillow. And this is Wally and Mrs. Byam, and he's wearing a Mexican guayabera, a sort of coat shirt. From Acapulco, we traveled north to Mexico City and then south again for a different aspect of Mexico, our destination, Oaxaca. This narrow, crooked, and steep road goes from Oaxaca to the ruins of Monte Alban, a religious city built countless centuries ago by the Zapotec Indians. An immense central plaza of 1,000 feet is surrounded by stairways and bases for temples. A pyramid rises in the center, and there are several small buildings scattered about. Over 2,000 years ago, the Zapotecs were writing with hieroglyphics, using an accurate calendar, and building with engineering skill and artistic taste of a very high order. And here in a buried tomb was found the greatest treasure ever discovered in the Americas, the fabulous Monte Alban jewels. Over 500 pieces of wrought gold and silver, and precious stones including pearls as big as pigeons' eggs. Mitla, 27 miles from Oaxaca, in another imposing archaeological area, where studies are still going on. It is believed to have been built by an earlier people and then taken over by the Zapotecs. And here you see the Hall of Monoliths. The door lintels weigh 30 tons each. The most remarkable workmanship at Mitla are the stone friezes, each piece in the geometric design carved separately and then set into place like a mosaic. After visiting these places, the caravanners began to appreciate the early history of Mexico. From Oaxaca, the caravan continued southeast to Tehuantepec, and again we came down from the mountains into the tropical coastland. As we crossed the Tehuantepec River, we saw the women washing clothes. Everywhere in Mexico you see women washing clothes, children, themselves, and in the evening the men bathe on their way home. Mexicans are a clean people. We parked on the grounds of the hotel and explored the city. Tehuantepec is a town of feminists who are so used to their independence that they make nothing of it. These women, called Tehuanas, wear full, long skirts and the distinctive huipil, or embroidered blouse. Their jewelry usually is made up of U.S. gold coins left here in 1848 by American pioneers on their way to California over the Isthmus of Tehuantepec. And on sale in the market here, you find colorful woven rope hammocks, just the thing for taking life easy outside of your trailer. And a short drive brings you to the docks at Salina Cruz on the Gulf of Tehuantepec, where you can have your pick of fish fresh off the boat. Part of the fun of trailering in a strange country is the shopping for food, because you really meet the people when you shop for the same things that they do. The new Isthmus of Tehuantepec Highway is the shortest transoceanic link in the Western Hemisphere, with the exception of the Panama Canal, 152 miles from the Pacific to the Atlantic. At one time, there were plans to build a canal here, but now at least the road is being pushed through. In 1954, a Walibayam caravan was the first American group to cross the isthmus since the gold rush of 1848. And these adventurous trailer caravanners pushed ahead where there was no road, fording rivers and inching their way through the jungle and making trailer history. Even now, the caravanners must stop and wait for construction crews at work. This part of Mexico is still very primitive, but as usual, you see the women washing in the river near their thatched huts. And road construction is a major program in Mexico because it brings these out-of-the-way places into the national picture, and they build good roads in Mexico. There's no difficulty at all in getting to the places you want to see. At Acayucan, you are back again on the Blacktop Highway. This is a small, pleasant tropical village, very much like hundreds of others. If you were to stop, you would be treated with the friendly courtesy you encounter all over Mexico. Caravanners get closer to a country, too, because everyone is curious about trailers and trailer travel. You find that you make lots of friends on a caravan, with your traveling companions and with the people of the country you visit. The U.S. State Department has offered its help for other international Walibayam caravans because caravanners are real ambassadors of goodwill in a direct people-to-people program. Ciudad Verde is a ferry across the bay to Alvarado. The caravan is always careful not to disrupt local traffic, and so the caravanners lined up and crossed a few at a time, being sure not to interfere with truck and bus schedules. This new modern ferry is a tremendous improvement over the old LST pushed by a tugboat that was on duty here when the 1954 caravan went across. Modern improvements are spreading fast in Mexico, but LST, or latest style ferry boat, caravanners manage their outfits well, and if anyone does have some difficulty, the group rallies around to help. There are so many advantages to traveling with a Walibayam caravan, it's no wonder the number of caravanners has been increasing every year. As we said before, nobody pays anybody anything on a caravan. Each caravaner pays his own way, and all you need is an itchy foot, an adventurous spirit, and a travel trailer. Most caravanners are young, older people who would rather wear out than rust out. Actually, they seem to get younger as the miles slip by. But if this is wearing out, they certainly enjoy it. After the ferry landed them at Alvarado, some caravanners headed north up the coast of Veracruz. Another group, chalking up a caravan first, were on their way to Yucatan. From Coatzacoalcos, the railroad goes through dense jungle to the Yucatan Peninsula. At present, there is no highway to this part of Mexico, so autos and trailers are loaded on flat cars, and you have, in effect, your own private railroad car. These modern travel trailers are built to take this kind of journey in stride. Here is real trailer pioneering. For hundreds of miles, these caravanners can sit comfortably in their car, or they can go back to the trailer for a meal or a nap. They have all the comforts of home right in the middle of uninhabited jungle. At last, we are in Yucatan and making good time over the flat roads. There are no mountains in this part of Mexico, and the chief crops are timber and henequen. There are no rivers. Water comes from natural wells called cenotes. Our objective in Yucatan is to visit the Maya ruins, especially those of the great ruined city of Chichen Itza, which at its height covered 3 square miles of land and had about 300,000 people. We were the first trailer visitors to this ancient city, which shows traces of the development and decline of Maya culture from the 10th to the 14th century. These people were in many ways more advanced than their European contemporaries. First, we drove around in the largest of the 7 pelota, or ball game courts. This one measures 180 by 480 feet. This Mayan game was played with a bouncing ball by 2 teams who attempted to send the ball through 2 large stone rings in the wall, using only knees or buttocks, no hands. There is no record of the rules of the game, but we do know that there was betting and that the game had some religious significance. Modern experts marvel at the engineering skill reflected in the Maya buildings, which are beautiful and exact without the use of either wheels or metals. The domed building there in the background is called El Caracol, the snail. Archaeologists believe that this building was an astronomical observatory. Even without metal, their stones are cut as precisely as we could do it today with steel tools. Originally, these tremendous structures were covered with something like stucco and paint. The massive roof timbers have long since rotted away, of course, but these timbers were carried by men from distant forests hundreds of miles away. El Castillo there in the background is almost 100 feet high. It is a truncated pyramid with 9 levels and 4 stairways leading to the temple on top. Archaeologists opened this pyramid and found another one inside of it. The Temple of the Warriors is surrounded by the court of 1,000 columns. Inside this temple were found some of the brightest of the Mayan frescoes. The murals picture everyday events in the lives of the people. One sculpture often seen is a human form resting on its hips with a twisted head. Caravanners even got a first-hand taste of the sacrifice ceremony. Yucatan seems like a world apart. Throughout its history, it has been isolated from the rest of Mexico, but when the road is built, many trailer travelers will follow these pioneering Walibayam caravanners. The last official encampment of this caravan to Mexico was at Veracruz, where we parked on the beach. Cortés landed right here in 1519 and began his terrible conquest of Moctezuma and the Aztec Empire. And then there were final shopping expeditions with caravan friends who would be going home by a different route because from here each unit was on its own. Some of the caravanners had to hurry home after being away for 2 months, and others planned to stay on in Mexico and explore more of the delights of this wonderful country that they now understood, appreciated, and even loved. And in addition to the special fun and fellowship of caravanning, these trailer travelers had the opportunity to really know another people and another country. They had discovered that Mexico today is progressing rapidly. This Pemex station looks very much like its American counterpart, and the highways are well planned and built. And yet in Mexico, there is still all the romance of a truly foreign country with a long and colorful history. As they drove northeast or northwest to the border, they knew they had had a unique experience. As a part of Wali's City on Wheels, they had lived at home while traveling thousands of miles. They had the advantage of a large group with the freedom to come and go as they pleased, and as Walibayam caravanners, they had enjoyed trailer travel, made friendships, and had adventure not duplicated anywhere in the world. As Walibayam says, the blue beret with the caravaner emblem is a special kind of passport to travel adventure. There's one of these berets awaiting you on a Walibayam caravan.